Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac. I am the premier any percent lost streaker on this platform. I don't know why I was going to show you this seat. Yeah, we'll show you this seat. There you go. You can look at it. It ain't enough time in the day to read out the hexadecimal there. Octadecimal. Whatever, dude. Okay. We got 2 wins as the lost. This is where... I mean, to be honest, to get a 5-win streak as the lost would be like... I would consider that a pretty incredible accomplishment. Holy Mantle or otherwise. Every run contains like one moment where it seems like everything's gonna go terribly wrong. Last run was super close. You might... Oh, Holy Mantle, big whoop. Yo, did you see us on the double adversary room? We were dodging beams. Like our name was... There's just nowhere to go with that joke. I mean, what dodges beams besides Catherine Zeta-Jones in Entrapment? She dips beneath the lasers. Nothing. Nothing has ever dodged beams, but well, Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, sure. He dips beneath the lasers. Fair enough. There's a lot of laser dipping. So, the first run... hard carry. Second run, we did get Mom's Knife, but statistically, I'll go to bat for the fact that I don't think the last run was really all that strong. We probably were a favorite to win versus losing, but I don't think it was lights out. You know, oftentimes with Mom's Knife, you don't need a lot statistically to get where you need to go. We didn't have a lot statistically. We still got there. This run, it's way too early to, you know, call anything here. How's life? It's pretty good. Today is it's a Thursday. Parents are popping into town on Saturday afternoon. Just a nice little... I mean, I gotta tell you, not every series has been 10 out of 10 this week, but I've recorded some 10 out of 10 videos I can't tell you about yet. It's true. Wait, sneeze. I told you. So I'm pretty, you know, I'm excited about YouTube output this week. And also, every day gets us one day closer to the release of Super Mario Maker 2. I am, admittedly, so I watched Dan play a little of the Mario Battle Royale. I mean, obviously we're going to go hard on this, but I watched Dan play a little bit of the Mario Battle Royale. Which is more like, to be honest, it's less like a battle royale where you're, you know, in combat with other players, although you can, I guess, get in their way sometimes. And much more like something like Trackmania. Like, if you watch the Mario Battle Royale and you're like, I like that loop of gameplay, dude, check out Trackmania. It's like, Trackmania is loved by people who have played it. We might as well get the transformation. But it's still kind of like underappreciated. It seems like one of those games that's like, is big in Europe. And then in North America, people are like, I don't get it. But that's kind of like, I mean, it's racing in general. Not to say that racing games haven't been popular in North America as well. But like, outside of the major franchises, I really feel like if a simulation or even pseudo-simulation racer comes out, North Americans are like, I don't really get it. Where's the green shells? And Europeans are like, you modeled the chassis slightly incorrectly. The front wing actually goes at a 15.6 degree angle. And I'm like, yeah, Queen, get him. Slay. Anyway. Trackmania, it's the same thing. It's like a competitive race. But it's basically like super difficult if you make it to the end. Sometimes that's enough. Ooh. Ragman. Champion Ragman, no less. I'm real pleased with where we're at, but that's not to say there's not ample room to grow on this run. Already seen our deal with the devil. No real interest in our shop. Yeah, I think we're good to head down to the next floor. We need some more offense and some more defense, to be honest. But everything's going hunky-dory temporarily here. Anyway, are they ever gonna make a new Trackmania? It is kind of one of those games that seems a little evergreen, you know, like once you... It's almost like, you know, Trackmania as a service. Like, once it comes out, you're like, you know, you can make tracks for this forever, but... Trackmania, actually, the best way to describe it is that it's like the Grand Theft auto online races. I'm not going to say but better, because I don't know if that's true, but very similar, shall we say. Spider Butt, I'd still rather have the Guppy set, I think. But anyway, what I was going to say is, will I play the Mario Maker Battle Royale? The honest answer is probably not. I think it... Sure. I think it looks very fun. I think I would have a fun time playing it. But I also think Nintendo is definitely going to take it down. Especially with Mario Maker coming out soon. And I worry, and it's not necessarily a founded worry, but, you know, it's kind of like a why poke the bear situation. I worry that they would also, you know, come after videos of people that played the Mario Battle Royale. And, you know, legally, they probably would be within their rights to do it, but even more so, like, you don't want to mess with it, right? I think. That's my 2 cents. But what do I know? Because despite being paranoid about copyright, I had a copyright strike this week from a film company who thought that I uploaded their movie on YouTube because my video was titled, not even the same, but a portion of it contained a title of a film that's also a common phrase. Anyway. That's, it's kind of been the elephant in the room for the past 24 hours. But luckily, you know, my network got on it quickly. I got on it quickly. And the strike got rescinded. Didn't have any lasting negative consequences. But just go ahead. Some people might look at that and they say, NL, you've been so paranoid about, like, copyright stuff. And then all of a sudden you get hit by a false positive. It shows you, like, how messed up YouTube's system really is. And, you know, that means you should play the Mario Battle Royale. I'm like in the opposite camp, where I'm like, that means what I'm going to do is title every episode a random string from this point onwards. Not true, but it's the way it makes you feel that way. I mean, I don't want to get into, like... It's not really real talk, it's just inside baseball. But, like, you know, yesterday was it was a stressful day. It wasn't that bad, like, I got over it, but... It is like, let me walk you through it. I wake up, I see that I got a copyright strike. I've never had a copyright strike in my entire life on YouTube. So I freak out, obviously, because copyright strikes are a big deal. I email my network, and I'm like, yo, what's up with this? Pretty quickly, no. Don't do me dirty like this. Pretty quickly, we figured out it was a false positive on an Escape from Tarkov video by the actual film company. The film company obviously had some kind of, like, automated filter set up. Sorry, needed the focus there. Still need to focus. They had some kind of automated filter set up that was like, hey, if a video looks like it's one of our movies, take it down. Fair enough. But it is a false positive. I gotta tell you, though, it was one of those, like... It was one of those days where... I feel like it may have a lasting impact on the way that I approach my career on this platform. Because let me give you a contrast, alright? I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, okay? YouTube's a big company. I have a contact directly at Google that is basically, he's supposed to be like my guy when something like this happens, right? I also have a few, you know, mutuals on Twitter. You familiar with the concept of a mutual? It's somebody you follow that also follows you back. And, you know, I don't follow them to be like, hey, one day if stuff hits the fan, I might need to lean on you a little bit. It's more like, you know, you work at a platform that I work on, so it's relevant for me to know what you're doing. Anyway. Or in many situations it's relevant. So, like, as soon as this happened, you know, I hit my contact at Google. And, I hit my, you know, some of my mutuals up on Twitter, and I wasn't pushy about it. I wasn't like, you guys gotta figure this out. I was like, hey, could you get back to me? Like, I would love to work together to get this sorted out. It was, like, definitely a false positive situation. I got no reply from my dude at the G headquarters until this morning, when the situation had already been resolved by myself and my network. It's like a 24-hour lead time, which, for a situation that's kind of, like, this critical, is a little bit insulting, to be honest. And I'm not one of those guys who's like, I want to speak to your manager. And then, you know, mutuals on Twitter just didn't even hit me back. And I get it. Like, that's... For some of them, that's, like, their personal platform. You know, it's... Perhaps it is unfair for me to be like, hey, respond to my work request now. But, I mean... You know. Now, I want you to contrast that with Twitch, where there have been times in the past, I try not to do it, where I've tweeted some things that are like, you know, I've had an unpleasant situation. Like, we had a bounty situation on Twitch where, like, I hit literally 49% of the viewership required to get paid out for a bounty. Well, I hit 98% of the viewership required to get paid out. And I went, you know, I tweeted and I went, hey, you know, it's a little messed up that, you know, I did what is essentially a sponsored stream. I gave disclosure. I played the game, but because I had, like, you know, 15 too few viewers, I literally miss out on getting paid anything and instead get paid nothing. Within, like, 10 minutes, somebody at Twitch was up in my DMs, like, hey, like, this is the way... Actually, 2 people at Twitch were up in my DMs and say, hey, I get that this is, you know, this is frustrating. This is the way we've designed the system, but, you know, the system is still in basically early access, so, you know, there's plenty of things that we could work on. We'd love to solicit your feedback. And then I gave them feedback, you know, civilly, and they acted on it, and, you know, at least for me, and I think for some other partners as well, they've kind of, like, tweaked the bounty board for people that get a lot of viewers. Like, I'm not trying to be immodest, but so that, you know... You can't get paid nothing for doing a sponsored stream that shows the game off to, you know, multiple thousands of people, but not quite enough to, you know, hit that number. Anyway, so literally, like, a vague subtweet at Twitch that was just venting had people from the company talking to me, like, instantly, and then, like, me getting a false copyright strike with potentially, like, close to catastrophic impact. We gotta check these, obviously. Nothing for 24, 36, or an indefinite amount of hours. I'm not actually, like, I'm not hating on anybody, for one. And I'm not particularly hating on the individuals involved in this situation. I'm more hating on, you know, the system at Google that allows this to happen. And then, on top of this, you also have to keep in mind that when I got the copyright strike, which was completely illegitimate and based on, you know, machine learning BS, I had to watch a video made by the Happy Tree Friends to teach me about what copyright is. You know, it's like, it's only 4.5 minutes long. I'm not saying it was a huge sink, you know, in my life, but I had to watch it and take a quiz. Meanwhile, the company that abused the copyright system, whether accidentally or intentionally, apparently does not have to go through that patronizing nonsense, despite the fact that they're clearly the ones who misused the system in the first place. Instead, the assumption is just that, you know, because somebody uploaded all of Star Wars The Force Awakens, you know, people who have been on the platform for a decade and, you know, who have been in good standing the entire time, and quite frankly, you know, made the platform just like a lot of money. They just, you know, well, it appears you don't know what copyright is. It's a little insulting, is all I'm saying. Now, they're also, to be fair to YouTube, they're beholden to American law. You know, American law says if you get a valid DMCA claim, you're required to act, or you could, you know, lose your business license, more or less. This is a scary position here. So I don't begrudge them for the fact that they acted. Help. Because they were forced to act. However, I do begrudge them. The system for dealing with false positives is, quite honestly, unacceptable now that I've been on the other side of it. Now, to be honest, I actually owe... I'm so surprised we lived there. I owe the company that copyright struck me a great debt of gratitude. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Because you're at their mercy after they do it. You know, I sent them a counterclaim that was... And it was, again, I want you to know, I hope that you would respect me enough if you watch my videos. You don't assume that I would be like, I'm on the phone with my lawyer right now. I was like, hey, Seems like an honest mix-up. I think this is what happened. It would be awesome if you guys could like get in touch with me and we could work this out. If it were not for them owning up to their mistake, you know, 12 hours after it was noticed, I could have been in the system for 90 days. You know, that's how long it takes for one of these to clear up on its own. So I actually, as ridiculous as it sounds, I'm very grateful. That was a terrible place for me to be. I'm very grateful to the company that struck me for at least being around to, you know, rectify their mistake, owning up to it. Because I feel like what I was actually nervous about or anxious about was not that they would be like, no, this is our property. Because then, you know, I've got a real case to take them to court and then retire forever. What I was worried about is that they would be like, this, we don't even know what this YouTube thing is. We just set up the content filter 6 years ago and haven't touched it since. And, you know, we're not even going to reply to the email because we got more important things to do. So I really do owe them a debt of gratitude. And, you know, the thing is, mistakes happen. It sucks, but mistakes do happen. So, again, I want to be clear, like, nothing, I didn't have any punitive measure, but it's still, like, it's frustrating to do everything more or less by the book on the platform and still, you know, I mean, I recognize it sounds whiny, but to basically be treated guilty by assumption just because of how the system works. And then on top of that, I mean, the take-home message was really like, you know, again, I'm not the biggest YouTuber, but I've been working on this platform for a long time. In good standing. I paid my own money to go to GDC and give a talk to legitimize YouTubers to developers at GDC. And, you know, I think over the years I've done a decent job of representing the platform, having bitten the hand that feeds, and then just, you know, one little glitch in the system pops up and nobody's there to take your emails. It really, to be honest, I'm not saying like, you know, it's business as usual for the time being, but I think if you put yourself in my shoes, you might also reconsider the, you know, right now my work week is like 50% YouTube, 50% Twitch. If you and I like that. I like recording videos. I like that they're, you know, the player is good. I've got an audience here that's been here forever. But, you know, when something like this happens and you look at how two different companies react to it, you probably, if you put yourself in my shoes, you could also consider, you know, or reconsider, I should say, what the balance of my time is, given, you know, the systems in place on the platforms to deal with situations like this, basically. It's not to say it would never happen to Twitch. A lot of people are, you know, they're fatalistic. That, well, Twitch sucks too. I mean, you know. I don't know, maybe you've dealt with them more than I have, but that's not my experience. I'm not even saying YouTube sucks. Like, you know, you put yourself in this situation, you obviously open yourself up to the most obvious criticism, which is like, well, it appears that you're insulting YouTube on YouTube. Care to comment? Well, you know, this is where my audience is. It's also, let it take me out. I don't want to be here anymore. It's also where the problem happens. So, you know, it seems valuable to me to talk about it. And again, I don't want to, there's a reason, by the way, I didn't make a tweet that was like, falsely copyright struck, YouTube system is broken. I don't really want to cultivate that kind of attention. You know, I don't want to be at the center of any kind of like media, anti-YouTube media buzz. It's like, well, this guy's, look, he's an example of how the system has, you know, been failing YouTubers forever. No, it was crossing my mind that it could get to that point, depending on how the situation went down. But mostly, I just wanted to go back to normal, which it did, thankfully. But you know, there's definitely stuff to talk about there. And to be honest, like, the reason that I wasn't super stressed out yesterday is because of you. You know, I know that over the years I've built a community that enjoys watching my stuff, and I feel pretty blessed. You know that. It's not that it's been lucky. I mean, it has been lucky, but it's also due to, you know, hard work over the course of several years. But, you know, I feel lucky that I've got an audience across multiple platforms that I think is fairly platform independent. And, you know, if something went wrong on YouTube, Twitch is there. That's, you know, I felt like people had my back, I guess, is the best way to describe it. By the way, I'm going to try to boss rush here and then teleport to the item room. But obviously I don't want to do anything that's going to get us killed. But we could get a free item. And I think in this case, it's a very relevant potential bonus for us. I just wish I could see the freaking map that I paid for. Anyway, that's, I mean, it's not really like my whole thoughts on the subject, but I think it's a pretty good encapsulation of what was going through my head yesterday. It was, you know, the system's messed up for sure. And if something like this can happen, oh, we need speed, I think. If something like this can happen when you're also taking, you know, obvious precautions, then, you know, it really does, it makes you think twice about the platform, you know, that you choose to invest the most of your time on when you got options. It's really, at the end of the day, that's pretty much what it came down to. Okay, the Ankh is like a must-have. I'll still count it as a lost streak if we die here and come back as Blue Baby. Whether you do or not is irrelevant to me. But anyway, that was what was going through my head yesterday. So it was a complicated day, to be honest, and I was surprised that I wasn't that upset. There was a couple of reasons why. You know, one of the reasons was I knew it was illegitimate to begin with, and you know, I'm not a guy who jumps to the worst possible conclusion. You know, I wasn't like, oh, this company's gonna screw me. I was just like, you know, let's give them 48 hours to sort it out before we do anything too rash. And it only took like, you know, 12 or 14. So, but it definitely, having like been through the system on this end, gave me a little bit more. We're not gonna make boss rush. That's really good, I think. Gave me a little bit more perspective. And I previously, like even in this series, I've gone to bat for YouTube, and honestly, going through the system hasn't completely changed my opinion. I still think a lot of the stuff that YouTubers have complained about with YouTube is not invalid, but exaggerated. Like, you know, I can't put a naked butt in my thumbnail and then be mad if the video gets declared, you know, not ad-friendly for general audiences. That's my 2 cents on that subject, at least. But obviously, it definitely it changes your opinion of having gone through the copyright system for sure. And at the end of the day, it's, you know, because we were talking even recently in a Tarkov episode about copyright, and some people have been like, NL, well, you kind of took like the pro-corporate side of copyright earlier. Like, I bet you feel real silly now. It's not really the case, to be honest. This is a mistake that got rectified. It's not like they were, I mean, what the company did was actually illegal. It was a false copyright claim. But it was accidental. It's not like, at no point did I say, well, companies should be able to break the law. All I did was say, you know, that if I will say, if anything else, or rather, if nothing else, certainly the, you know, presumption of guilt is very insulting. The most insulting thing for sure is still that, to me, like that they made me go through the copyright school video and quiz because somebody else was like, this is copywritten content. I'm like, no, it freaking isn't. They should have to watch a different video that's like, hey, here's what happens if you falsely copyright strike somebody. That's my 2 cents. But whatever, John Wick 3 still slapped. Keep up the good work. They rectified it, and you know what? They even said, we sincerely apologize for the stress this must have caused you. It's really all you could ask for. Well, that, and, you know, they could give me a part in Jonathan Wick 4. I don't know if I'd even want that. I just to be an extra would be fine. Anyway, it is what it is. Like, again, more than anything else, I'm just thankful it got sorted. But yeah, it sucked. Full stop. You know what doesn't suck, though? I'm glad I got that out. It feels good. You know, I didn't want to talk about it on the videos yesterday because it was still in flux. But today, now that it seems like, you know, it is sorted, that's my 2 cents on the subject. By the way, like, I know that this probably reflects poorly on my contact at Google and YouTube. It's not my intention to, like, you know, pile on. They're busy. I don't respond to a lot of my messages either. Mind you, I'd like to think if I got a message that was like, hey, because of your videos, I'm dying. I would take the time to be like, maybe you didn't even see it, you know, who knows, but I would like to think that I would get in the, I would get the correspondence flowing there, but maybe I wouldn't, you know, and I mean that sincerely. I'm not a perfect human being. I just have the illusion of being a perfect human being because I'm like super in the right on this subject at least. Okay, you guys gotta get toasted. Anyway. It's the nature of the beast, you know, you got human beings at the center of all this stuff. It's the worst part of dealing with both human beings and machines, if that makes sense. Blame the algorithm for the false strike to begin with, and then, you know, the human beings for the enforcement system that ended up taking hold on YouTube. Okay, so I've been hit here. I really do want to win as the Lost. Our DPS is pretty terrible. That was just the best placement I ever could have asked for with that bomb. It's not terrible, like, unusable, but it's terrible, like, I wouldn't expect to have more than a 50% chance to get through this fight flawlessly at this point, but, you know, my bombs are helping bridge the gap. I think we're gonna do it. This has been the best play I've had in a long time, too. I'm motivated by, righteous anger. Anyway, I'm not actually angry. I'm relieved, and that's the honest to goodness truth. You know, it's not. I don't have any desire to, you know, bootstrap my channel's popularity by having a righteous public relations cause against YouTube. For the most part, I'm happy to be on the platform, but yesterday was, let's call it, a rude awakening. I did not mean to hit Q there. I meant to hit space. It's a minor mistake made major by its complete unnecessary nature. So I'm gonna try to play this run as if I don't have the Ankh. If I didn't have the Ankh, I would not fight on the mob trap room. I might not get in there with Sack Dagger, but I also know myself. I think I might get in there. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if we want to end that discussion on, like, a positive note, you know, I do owe you guys a lot of thanks as well for, like, for watching my stuff. You know, and, you know, this sounds very braggadocious, but, like, thank you for enjoying my content, so that I have at least a certain sense of comfort knowing that, you know, an audience will be there. I don't expect, like, you know, everybody would follow me to, like, you know, a new video platform or something like that. I'm just saying, if the unthinkable happened, I appreciate knowing. I shouldn't even say appreciate. I'm flattered to know that there are people who prefer me to the platform. Maybe is the best way to describe that. You know, some people eat at a restaurant because of its food. Some people eat at a restaurant because of its location. I appreciate that a lot of people are eating at this restaurant because of its food. I mean, let's be honest, I've been serving the same meal for 3,000 episodes. If you didn't like it, I guess you wouldn't keep coming back. We should be fine for this part. I do think the chest is a little scary. Thank God we took that speed upgrade earlier. We do have one luck. Actually, like, pretty okay. Shouldn't expect, like, a free ride on the chest, but a freer ride as a result of that. 99 bombs. Unbelievably good. Mini mush. I will not take it. Our speed's already high enough. What I want is obvious, by the way. I want a card. And then, in the midst of, you know, one of the more stressful days of my, well, you know, honestly, like maybe even my adult life, to be recording non-stop 10 out of 10 bangers like I did, it just makes it that much more impressive. Plus, I caught a shiny Kyogre yesterday, because I would have gone insane if I didn't leave my house for a few hours. No. You don't get to hit me. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Shut up when I'm talking to you! Shut up! Sorry, you can't get caught there. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. How did that knock... show me the free body diagram. I refuse to believe that that knocked something away from you. I'm disappointed in myself because that was extremely preventable. I actually, even now, don't really understand what happened. But that's fine. Again, that's why we were so excited to take the Ankh earlier, because this exact situation could have happened to us. I gotta tell you, after yesterday, minor problems in video games, fairly inconsequential to my overall psychological well-being. Don't forget, you got Sack Dagger. You get in there, work it with Holy Mantle. Still a little ways to go here, but it should be basically impossible for us to lose this one. Of course, you know, the more the merrier on just about every consumable under the sun right now. Anyway, it's over and it's good. It's fine, maybe is the better way to explain it. But that's, you know, I always say, you know, in these episodes you can trust me to be honest, and, you know, that's my honest opinion. And hopefully that's clear. I haven't made a habit of, you know, bad-mouthing the platform holder where I make part of my living regularly, so hopefully you'll take it as an honest appraisal of my 2 cents on the subject. You can watch the Copyright School video for yourself if you're interested, by the way, just in case you want to be kept abreast on the rules of copyright. Just go search it up. And then imagine you got pulled over for drunk driving by a police officer after you blew a 0 on the breathalyzer, and then he forced you to watch a video where a bunch of cartoon animals told you that drinking and driving is bad, and the whole time you're just going, I know. And then you take a quiz afterwards that goes, should you drink and drive? Yes or no? And you're like, it's a tough one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you click the like button, it helps out a great deal. Of course, if you want to see more on the video, but I'll see you next time. See ya.